Hey guys, hope you're all having an awesome night. Okay, so we're gonna do a check-in. The last week has been like insane energy-wise. So if you've noticed, I've like not been posting as much stuff, haven't really done any readings in like a week. It's been pretty intense. What I'm noticing is there's a few different groups of people who are like starting new cycles. So some of us, people who are in my group, we've been kind of in the void energy. We haven't really been able to kind of see things for ourselves other than like spirit giving us like little blips of information. Very like tired, just feeling like very unmotivated, like no creativity, kind of no direction and stuff. But we were being forced, and we're still in this, like in and out, to kind of sit with our stuff and sit with the discomfort and the emotions and kind of like almost like a tower moment to kind of grow. But it was spanning over a week. Some of the other stuff is like a little bit more like the void's been in and out for like actually months for me personally. So it's like we're learning how to surrender and accept things the way we are. We're learning how to empower ourselves for things that are out of our control and learning how to actually release control and let go of things. And Spirit's also saying we're releasing blockages too. So there's a lot of different blockages you're releasing where you're like, if this happens, then I'll feel like this. They're saying financial blockages, relationship blockages within yourself. They're saying a lot of you too is working on your self-esteem and not feeling enough and things like that. So you're going through this big spiritual growth to push you to the next level, but you had to go like kind of deep and cleanse some stuff out. It feels like, and I'm still in this too, but it feels like we're still in this. We're going to be in it for a little bit, but it's softening. The energy is softening. There's another group who's like kind of in their creativity right now. They're kind of in their element. They're kind of finding like what they want, kind of going with the flow and stuff like that. So they're in like a little bit of a different group. So some people are in kind of like the mix where it's like we have like little spurts of like creativity or happiness or positivity and things like that. And then it's like we're kind of doing the emotional stuff. So it's kind of like a mix. I know like for me personally, it's like I go and it happens throughout the day where it's like I want to socialize and then I don't want to talk to anybody. Like I'll post and then I'm like, I don't want to talk to anybody, or I'll have enough energy to be able to like do something for my business. And then it's like, it goes away. And then I'm like, oh my God, I have to go lay back down. There's definitely a lot of physical stuff. So I'm just going to speak because it seems to be changing pretty sporadically, but so it's Saturday today. So for yesterday and today, it's been a lot of like limb pains, like nerve pains, like in the arms, like the little inner elbow area, shoulder area. I don't know what that is back there. Digestive issues, and either like not hungry at all or like hungry and craving like weird foods you probably don't normally eat. Like pain in like the knees and the legs, things like that. Lots of like heart chakra stuff. So like pressure or like a lot of burning coming up like kind of heart and throat chakra. Like burning, definitely a lot of like third eye and crown chakra. So like a lot of headaches and migraines, a lot of like vision stuff, tingling, things like that. Like I have it right now. It comes and goes throughout the day. Like I was talking to people in the shop earlier and I'm like, you're literally watching me go through like 6 transitions in like 20 minutes because I can feel the shifts, and it's like, it's been like that. So, since February, like nonstop, it's been like that. It's been on and off like that for a while. So now I just got hit with dizziness. So it's like, it just shifts, but we're learning how to sit in these energies and just be like patient with ourselves and learning how to just keep ourselves calm in them and like learning how to kind of relax in them. I don't know how to, not really relax, but learning how to like stop resisting them or like freaking out and panicking, and like learning how to just like, okay, let me trust, like let me surrender, let me just feel what I need to feel and kind of like let go of all the fears. Spirit's also saying fears, and they're saying authority and power. So maybe some of you guys have like a fear of like authority. I don't know. Those are very specific words they're using, authority and power. I'm not even going to try to analyze it. If that message is for you, you'll know exactly what they're talking about because they're not giving me any direction other than that, like specifically. And they're saying the word liberty too. So that's weird as fuck. I have no idea what the hell that means. Maybe it's for somebody specific. Sometimes they do stuff like that, and then I just keep seeing like the Statue of Liberty. So I'm just gonna pull cards. I got this energy to kind of do the reading. I haven't had a lot of energy today. Like it's been up and down, but I got enough energy to do the reading, and I was guided to do one. So I'm gonna pull some cards. They were kind of telling me to pull some cards, see current energies. They're saying like moon energies too, and then they're had said to me earlier, like the divine masculine pull for them, divine feminine pull for them, So we're just gonna go with the flow, and I pulled a few decks out and kind of just see whatever they tell me as I go. So this is just kind of like general current energies they're saying. Patience and planning. Shut the fuck up. We got the Authority card. Okay, maybe that's why they said that. That's crazy. Crown chakra. Which I'm actually drinking my crown chakra tea. Oh, see, that's why I was like, I'm not even trying to analyze that. I already forgot what they say, authority and power. Yeah, I was like, I'm not even trying to analyze that, because when words like that come in, I don't know, like I interpret it in my own way and they're not giving me an interpretation with it. So it's going to mean different shit to everybody. The power card just came out. Okay. So, all right, now we're going to interpret this shit. What the fuck? Okay, that's weird as shit. See, this is why I like to record them. And like, obviously you can tell I don't edit shit, but like, this is why I like to record them, because yeah, I'm guessing, I don't know why the hell they said that the way it came out, but okay. Okay. I guess we shall see, because I'm as confused as fuck as you guys are. I just like, this is the thing I'll tell people, because this is why I always tell people, like, use your discernment. If you're watching a reading, all right, I'll talk about that. If you're watching a reading, like, don't just take it because you want it to match, or don't just take it like, see, does this align with me? Does it feel like energetically aligned with me or not? Because the thing is, like those words came through, right? So I could sit there and I could be like, oh, well, authority and power mean this, this, and this. And like, I don't know what the hell they were channeling. They were just channeling specific words to me. And I was like, I don't know what the hell that means. I could sit there and give you my interpretation. So then what happens is when people give and there's nothing wrong with that, but when people give their interpretation, it's not a channeled message. It's filtered through the human self for their interpretation. So that's why, like, when spirit gives me shit, I give you what they say versus me interpreting what they're saying for my own stuff. So that's why I always tell people, use your discernment, because even if a reader is like legit and giving you spirit messages, not all of them might actually be spirit messages. Sometimes we're talking about personal stuff. Sometimes, you know, I usually tell you guys if it is like, this is what I'm going through because I feel like I need to share it and things like that, but not everybody expresses that. So you might be taking something very literally that's not actually for you. I mean, if that's the situation, you're probably learning from it anyway, but like, my point is, you should trust your intuition first and always over anything you see. And if it doesn't align with you, it doesn't align with you. We all go through different cycles where somebody may be like super aligned with somebody and then you just don't align with them anymore. And that's okay. You're in a different cycle than them. You might realign with them. You might not. Yeah. All right. They're bringing up, like old relationships. I'm not going to really talk about that too much. If that applies to you, where you have like exes reaching out to you, old friends reaching out to you, old family members, things like that, go watch the last video I did. It was literally the last reading I did before this one, because I talked about it in there. I'm not going to get into that too much. Right after I recorded that, actually, I'll tell you guys a funny fucking story. So I recorded it, went out with my friend. Like, I recorded it when I was at the shop right before I was closing. Went out with my friend, came home, uploaded the video. I don't always watch my videos. Sometimes spirits like, go watch it. There's a message, or they'll have me like scroll to a certain part to watch, because a lot of times I don't remember what I say because I'm channeling. And they had me start watching the part where I was talking about old people coming back into your life and blah, blah, blah. And I paused it because a bunch of emotions and shit came up, and I was like, I need to like purge. And then boom, somebody messaged me right in that, like within a few seconds of me watching that I hadn't talked to in a year. And I was like, oh, y'all are fucking funny as shit. Divine timing is literally perfect, but they're funny as fuck. So it's like there's a point I was getting to that, but it's doing things that align with you. And like, if something doesn't resonate with you, don't watch it. Like, if something resonates, then watch it. Like, I say that because I know some people are on here and they just like to watch my videos. Perfectly fine. Nothing wrong with it. But if you're not in that energy, the message just might not be for you. The recordings I do, sometimes my messages that Spirit's giving me for you guys resonate with me, and sometimes they don't, because Spirit's just telling me what to fucking say. So sometimes some messages resonate, some don't. So you can watch it. Just don't take everything so literal. But what the hell was the point? There was something I was going to tell you guys with the point with that with divine. I was trying to say something about divine timing. I forgot what it was. So maybe I already said what somebody needed to hear, but like, divine timing is literally fucking perfect. Like, it's not even a joke. And Like, you're not going to miss shit that's meant for you, like, promise. Like, it always happens like that. Even conversations with people. Like, people do not realize, like, how much we are interconnected is a great word to say, interconnected with each other, like, where you'll feel like, you know what, I just don't want to answer this person right now. And there's nothing wrong. You're not mad at them. You're just going through your own shit. You just don't want to answer them. And generally speaking, that person might be going through a lesson or an energy or a thing going on where you answering that, not answering them is triggering them. So they need to heal something and things like that. Or they need to, you know, ask for their, whatever the fuck it is. So do things that are in an energetic alignment with you. And I'll tell you this, and I'm going to read the cards. One of my friends was calling me yesterday, and I was at the shop. And my phone's always on silent anyway. And she called me, and then I tried to call her back, and the phone call wouldn't go through. And then I messaged her, she was at work. I was like, call me, you know, because her fucking phone problems or whatever. So she calls me, and literally I couldn't answer the phone because somebody walks in the door, and I was talking to somebody that was in the shop or something like that. And then she ends up, I call her back, and she goes, hey, I'm like outside right now. I'll call you when I go into work, blah, 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 like whatever. She calls me the second I go to answer the phone. Somebody walks through the door and asks me a question. And I'm like, okay. And she had messaged me. It was like something she needed help with. I go, I'm telling you right now, Spirit's not wanting me to give you an answer. You need to do the answer on your own, because we literally keep getting blocked from conversations. Like Spirit, that's what I was getting at. Spirit actually does intervene so much that people don't even realize it. Not all the time, but when it's something like that, they will intervene. If it's something that like you need to do on your own, they will intervene. Like they will give you the messages you need. You'll be drawn to go to a place where you're going to get a message from somebody that you need, like all kinds of shit. So do things that's the whole point I'm making, is do things that are in alignment with you. As far as old people coming back and things like that, use your discernment with that. And Spirit is saying you don't need to keep repeating lessons. Like, you know who's good for you. You know who is not good for you. It's not, they're just saying it's not even about setting boundaries. If somebody is not healthy for you and somebody's not good for you, you can't set boundaries with them because they don't respect your boundaries. If you have to consistently say the same shit over and over and over to people and they don't respect your boundaries, and it's like, there you go. There's your answer. You don't need to have your intuition. And they're saying this too. You don't need to have your intuition to make decisions. Some of us who are in the void where we're not able to connect our intuition with stuff, it's because we're learning to do things on our own. Like, what is it that we know? And we're learning to connect on our own without needing so much spiritual guidance. Like, you internally know things already. You don't need to always ask Spirit. And I'm learning this too. You don't need to always ask Spirit. It's, do I want to do this or do I not? Is this something I would enjoy? Is this something I wouldn't? Is this person good for me? Is this person not? Like, we don't need like our intuition to tell us that. We already know this shit. Like, it's very obvious we know this shit. So like a lot of awareness is coming in that aspect too. So, okay. Let me just get to this. You know how I get when I ramble on sometimes. Patience and planning and authority, crown chakra and material harvest. And you guys might be seeing mirroring numbers a lot. We got 747. There's a lot of mirroring numbers. Every time I looked up, I kept on seeing like mirrored numbers too. We got power, temptation, new beginnings, light, and rejoice in celebration. So they're having me separate power and temptation, new beginnings in the middle, light and rejoice in celebration. Is this all together? Okay. So it feels like some of you guys are in a cycle where you're learning to be patient and you're not being patient. And it feels like you're going very much into like your ego and inner child energy, where some of you, it's like overthinking and stuff like that. And it's like, no, I'm done. No, I'm done. No, I'm done. Spirit's like, no, you're fucking not. You already know you're not. I'm going to show you guys something they're showing me when I'm done telling you this, because they keep showing me a bunch of shit and I'm like trying to not jump all over the place. But it feels like what's happening is you're getting very in your ego and very guarded. And Spirit's saying like you need to actually like calm your mind down and open yourself up to receiving. A lot of you are mirroring energy. So if you're upset with somebody else, ask yourself, why am I upset? And what is this reflecting back to me? So if you're mad at somebody for not respecting you, are you respecting yourself? Are you asking for your needs to be met? Are you setting boundaries with people and not tolerating people's disrespect? Are you doing that for you? and like always reflect it back to you. What is it that I need to learn? Like, what is it, going on? Obviously, if somebody calls you like a name randomly, like out of nowhere or something, and you're upset, like no shit, you're going to be upset. But like, well, actually, I probably wouldn't even care. But like, I honestly probably wouldn't even care. But some people would. But it very rarely does it happen where it's just like an out of the blue thing. It's usually, people that like will do things that and stuff like that will really trigger you and bother you. So look back at yourself. Like, what is this reflecting to me? For some of you who are really lost, like if you need a book or reading on that, because it's very general and it's hard for me to explain in examples. If you're feeling kind of stuck with that and you need a reading or something, like you can message me a book. I'm going to start booking readings again. I did not do any this week, and I'm going to answer everybody else too, because I had like a million people message me this week, and I'm like, not doing readings this week. Like my energy is like, and I'm like, I'm not doing it. Anyway, okay. For the people who are in their ego and being defensive, open yourself up, reflect, what is this teaching you? What do you need to learn? Where are you not respecting yourself? Where are you not standing up for yourself? Where are you also not being patient? Because you're sitting here and saying, I want this, I want this, I want this. But then you're like going into this like ego inner child of it has to happen now. And Spirit's saying, accept where you are now. Like learn where you are now and be okay with that and be comfortable with that. Even if it's not where you want to be, like there's something that you're growing through or learning or teaching you or whatever. This is what they were trying to have showing me. I'm going to show you how mirrored this shit is, but they're showing me all these cards as I was like talking. So that's why I was like, hold on. So if you notice, we got all this circle energy right up here with the crown, which is crown chakra, right? All of it, all the top cards, none of the bottom cards have it, only the top cards, right? But if you notice the two cards that are next, let me move this back to normal. The two cards that are next to each other both have towers in them. The only two cards I'm pretty sure in the deck that have these two towers, these two like pillars in them are that. And the same with the crowns illuminated. So we got the crown chakra. And if you notice, like the two men in it both have their crown chakras like illuminated. And even this card has like the upper area illuminated. So I don't know why they wanted me to show that. When I see these cards, honestly, to me, a lot of times it represents like mirrored energy. So it could be like karmic relationships. It could be like twin flame soulmates. I don't like to say those words just because the spiritual community has kind of like went like overboard with it. And the problem is a lot of times people will like misinterpret, cannot fucking speak, like trauma bonds and things like that for soulmate type relationships, even though they're not. So, and then it's like they read all this stuff online and then they're like, blah, 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 and they go along with it. Go with your own intuition. Your intuition knows all. So go with your intuition versus what you're seeing online. See if it matches, see if it aligns. But it definitely feels like this very soul mirrored masculine feminine energy, very, very mirrored. So if this has to do, some of you, I'm definitely getting financial for this, but mirrored in your relationship. If this is the masculine and feminine relationship, where are you being defensive and guarded? Where are you putting walls up? Where are you in your ego? Instead of listening and instead of being open to receiving, where are you in your ego? Because it feels like this enough is enough energy where you're just like, done, like enough is enough. So go within and reflect and fucking chill. All right, we got power and temptation. This feels like masculine energy. This feels like the masculine. So that's why I said, I was like, we're just going to pull and see what they say. Feels like the masculine. They're saying current energy. It feels like the masculine's about to release some shit. He feels like he's been sitting in his ego way too long. And it feels like Spirit's like been shaking his shit to the core where they're trying to make him very uncomfortable to actually stand in his power and move forward. And it feels like it's like the same repeated lesson over and over and over because he's just not standing in his power. Some of them it's relationships. So it could be, like they're saying karmic relationships. So karmic relationships could be romantic partners. This could be like mother figures or females in their lives. It could also be friends and things like that. But they're also saying the same thing they said up there, is standing in your power. And it's like not just throwing things away because you're frustrated and you're throwing an ego tantrum. It's standing in your power and coming from a place of authority and conviction within yourself, where you come to a place where it's like, I deserve more than this. Like, I'm settling for bullshit relationships. I'm settling for toxic shit, settling for people who aren't good for me. This goes back to what they're saying. This goes back to what I was saying earlier about the relationships. Like, if somebody's not good for you, you don't need to keep asking it. You already fucking know someone's not good for you. Like, if somebody doesn't respect you, somebody doesn't treat you right, somebody cheats, somebody does shit like that to you, like, you know that they don't respect you. And you cannot tell them. This is the thing. We all fuck up, right? Like, we all make mistakes. We all fuck up. When somebody consistently is disrespectful, when somebody consistently, intentionally, I always go by intention for me personally, intentionally brings you down and wants to make you small, to have a one-up on you, to feel stronger, to feel more powerful, those are people who are intentionally manipulating you. We sometimes subconsciously manipulate to get our needs met. But people who intentionally do it, you know they do it, and it's a pattern. And they will keep doing it over and over and over. When somebody realizes what they're doing, or if you tell them they're doing it, even if they get defensive at first, they'll stop. Because they realize what they're doing, and they'll stop, and they respect you and care about you. Somebody who continues to do it over and over and over, you cannot blame their fucking trauma, their past relationships, their parent issues, or any of that stuff. People make the choices that they make, and if somebody intentionally chooses to manipulate you, how the fuck can you trust them anyway? So whoever needs that message is definitely for you. They're not even having me go into anything else. Okay. Having me read that afterward. Light and rejoice in celebration. So this definitely, I'm getting for feminines. It feels like the feminines, most of them, have been going through this really like difficult time, especially they're saying, especially the people who are like, have been in like that tunnel void energy. They're saying like that darkness, like you're almost actually at the end of it right now, and you're going to start seeing the light, and you're going to start seeing some of your manifestations. Like, you've been working really hard on them. They might look a little different than you anticipated, but they're going to be as good or better than you wanted. So it might not look exactly the way you initially wanted it to, but it's still going to show up for you in a very good, positive way. And it's going to be something that you're really proud of. It's going to be something that like you're really happy about. Like, it almost, like, as I'm reading it, the energy I'm feeling for the feminine is almost like this sense of relief. Like, this weight is lifted off her shoulders, and like she's like finally like, oh my God, I'm done with this cycle. Like, I'm done with this cycle. And she's like filling her own cup, and she's just in her like boss energy. She's in her like feminine energy, where she's like sending out love, sending out light, and all that stuff. But she's also still in like her good, positive, like good ass energy. With this new beginning, this is not going to resonate with everybody. It feels like the feminines might have to say goodbye to some of the masculines because they're not on the same page. So this is not going to be for everybody. It's only for specific people that Spirit's asked me to say this for. You need to step forward to what is good for you and what is new for you. And it might mean leaving behind people who are just not at your level right now. It may be a forever everything. It may not be a forever everything. Time will tell. But this feels more like the feminine's going to be the one making this choice and like moving forward. And it's like closing the door to the past. A lot of you, it feels like father issues. So it could be literal, or it could be a mental perspective shifting for the feminines. I get this is somehow going to trigger the masculines. Because I was asking about the masculines in this card because they wanted me to do it in the middle. And this is, I'm going to just tell you what I'm getting for Spirit. They're not giving me too much. It feels like somehow, I'm talking about the divine, okay, let me back up a little bit. I'm talking about the divine masculine and the divine feminine. These are, usually light workers or soulmate connections. This is not people that they're in relationships that are karmic relationships. This is not people that they're in relationships with that are toxic or like unhealthy. These are like soulmate connections. These are like both people are light workers and both people are here to like uplift. Okay. What it feels like if you're in a relationship, it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to break up with this person. This feels like ones that are kind of in limbo right now, if I'm being honest. The energy from it feels like kind of like limbo energy, where the feminines are going to have to like leave the masculines behind, which is going to trigger the masculines to kind of panic a little bit and do what they need to do. But the feminines need to move forward. It's going to bring her a new beginning, and it's going to shift something in the relationship. I'm asking for people in relationships, and Spirit's not saying anything other than if you're in a relationship with this person currently and it's actually a true soulmate relationship, and you know if it's a soulmate relationship or not, but if it's a true soulmate relationship, it feels like you guys are somehow going to work together as a team, but you both need to change your perspectives because both of you guys are being very stubborn with changing and like, well, this person needs to do it first or show it first or whatever, and they're like, no. So I'm going to say this again, take it only if it resonates. I remember saying it in the beginning. There was clearly a reason I said it in the beginning. So only take it if it resonates, but always do what's right for you, regardless of any reading that you watch or read or anything like that. Always like use your discernment. Private readings, different story, but you still trust your intuition, even if you get a private reading. Okay, that card just flew out. 8 of Gabriel. Oh, I have not pulled that card in fucking a long ass time. A lot of you guys might be getting animal signs. We got another reflecting number. Yeah, 8s on both sides. These two? Yes, sir. My King of Ariel came out. I haven't seen him in a while. Yeah, a lot of you guys might be seeing animal signs. Feel into the energy when you see them. You can tell the difference between just seeing an animal versus like a spirit animal coming to you. The spirit animal, when they come to you, they're usually all up in your face in some way. For the people who know, like I had like this black snake and I was talking about snakes with somebody at the shop and I'm like, I'm going to go home and see a fucking black snake. I go in my backyard. He like stares right at me. This little thing turns around, and then a few days later, the same black snake, I could feel energy, so I know it's the same snake, is sitting all over my Buddha, all over my planters, just staring at me, and he was not there. I swear to God, when I went out there, I did not see him. I'm like, how the hell did I not see him? But dragonflies have been coming up to me for a little bit. The new one is rabbits, though. Rabbits have been coming in and out for months for me. But like they've been especially like really strong the last few days. So if you can see, my yard's it goes pretty far back, and I had my window open, not this one, my bedroom window open the other day because I was laying inside because I just couldn't go outside. The energy is so intense, and like randomly I see a rabbit like all the way so far back. I'm like, I didn't even know how I saw it. And then last night when I came home, it was sitting on like the pathway to my door. And I was on the phone with my friend. I put the window down, everything. We were talking. The rabbit could hear us, looked at me, ears, and just sitting there. And like, I walked up to it and it just sat there until I got like where I could probably touch it. And then he hopped away with his cute little button tail. But like, yeah, you can feel the energies. A lot of animals are coming to you either in person or through your dreams and stuff. And sometimes you're also seeing them like on social media that just keep popping up like out of nowhere. Some people might be getting songs almost as like validation, but not necessarily for current energy. So part of a big lesson is sitting in your present energy and accepting where you are. Even if you're getting messages for future stuff, still sitting where you are. And not needing to kind of rush to be in that energy. Sometimes it's just like another lesson for you to surrender and accept things. Thank you, for the message. Like, I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm still trusting and holding my intuition, but like I'm also like letting things be what they are right now because it's not what you guys are showing me isn't here yet, like that. Fairies and strawberries have been popping up a lot too, at least for me. Okay, we got 8 of Gabriel, Page of Gabriel. We got a few Archangel Gabriels. 8 of Michael, Two of Gabriel, Nine of Ariel, King of Ariel. I love my King of Ariel. Okay. Could be some earth signs too, because we got the new beginnings with the big earth, and King of Ariel usually represents, actually, I think he represents Taurus, which, you know, I'm a Taurus. And then we got another earth right there. So you could be an earth sign or have earth in your chart, or dealing with somebody who's an earth sign, or possibly Taurus too, because that's the male Taurus card. Okay. I don't know if it's male. I know it's Taurus card. It might be male or female. This Eight of Gabriel card is not what it typically means. It's more so this freeing yourself and like ascending higher is what it feels like. And it feels like kind of the feminine. This kind of feels like a feminine energy up here, where we have feminine and masculine in us. So it could be like, it's not gender related. It just feels feminine. So it could be men with the feminine energy, and that's what they're doing. But it feels just, like I said, like I'm not getting a gender with it. Like when I did the divine masculines and feminines is your primary energy. This feels like for everybody, but it feels like the feminine energy is kind of like being free finally, and being like liberated. And maybe that's what they meant when they said liberty. I'm not totally sure, but like kind of being free and like floating higher, and just like coming into this weightless energy. And it feels like she's coming into her power, where she's like, people might be coming in that are like fake, or that are like half-assed, or that are like whatever. And she's like standing in her power, like, I ain't fucking with that. And it's helping her free herself. I'm definitely getting some parent issues with this. It's helping her free herself and shift her perspective. And it feels like this feminine worthiness energy, like this I'm not enough energy. This feels like men and women though. This definitely feels like a collective thing, not just like females, like men and women. It feels like energy in general. And it feels like it's going to shift, which means you're going to start seeing that outwardly. We got Two of Gabriel, Nine of Ariel, King of Ariel. I just saw this too. I didn't even realize this. We got two rainbows right in a row too. We're getting a lot of like the same cards next to each other, like the same type of symbols and stuff next to each other. What I'm getting with the Two of Gabriel, none of these cards mean what the hell they're telling me today. With the Two of Gabriel, what I'm getting is things might seem dark right now, and things might seem and feel heavy right now, but shift your perspective and stop going into the heaviness. Like stand in your power and what you know, and ground yourself, because you know things. You don't need to look them up. You don't need to talk to other people. You know things. Like stop like causing a divide with people and start coming together. With the Nine of Ariel, this very much feels like overcoming obstacles and energy, and like the brighter side. Like keep moving forward. Like even though you're going through tough times, even though it feels like you're climbing mountain after mountain after mountain, like keep moving forward and keep going forward. It is bringing you somewhere positive. It is bringing you somewhere healthy. It is bringing you to the charming King of Ariel. We got Nine of Ariel, King of Ariel. I love him. He's so damn charming. It's bringing you, this is what they're saying, like when you keep moving forward, the end result that it's bringing to you guys is like abundance, prosperity. For some of you, it's new relationships. It's finding like a suitor that's really positive and good for you. And it's like, this is that thing I was saying at the top, like especially if that's for you, is not going back to the old. Like you guys know, if you're making choices that aren't healthy for you, or you keep going back to the same type of relationships, whether it's friendships or, you know, romantic relationships, you keep going back to the same relationships, like, you know what your own cycle is. So it's like, once you're releasing that, kind of what I said at the top, it's almost kind of like a story is what they're saying. And like, once you release that and you move forward, like it's actually going to bring you this very genuine, good, positive energy. It's going to bring you this genuine love. It's going to bring you the abundance. It's going to bring you all of that. And this is not just for people who are single. This is also for people who are in relationships as well. Because sometimes when you're in relationships, you have blockages where you kind of like hold people back and you have your walls up and things like that. And when you actually get into the energy of releasing shit that's not good for you, you allow your walls to go down. You stop being so defensive. We're getting a lot of defensive shit. You stop being so defensive, and you open yourself up, and it helps you get to a deeper, vulnerable, more intimate state with your partner. So for some of you, this is definitely single like that. Something new is coming in or something new and exciting. But some of you also, it's like a deepening in your relationship as you are working through stuff. And we also got the word powerful here too. We keep getting a lot of like powerful words, like said it, and then we pulled the cards and it keeps kind of showing up. So yeah. And then I look and I didn't even realize it's called Archangel Power tarot deck. I never even realized. I've had this deck for probably at least 2 years and I never realized the word power was in it. That is hysterical. This, okay. Okay. These two. I love it. Okay. Oof. So fucking dizzy all of a sudden. Hold on. Jeez. I also had a bat flying over my car last night when I saw the rabbit. It just flying around my house and over my car. I totally forgot about it until I just saw the awareness card come out. So we got the I Deserve card. This is the inner child card that I made. So when this comes out, this means like inner child healing, or you need to pay attention to your inner child. So the specific message is, I deserve my inner child to be seen. I deserve my voice to be heard. I deserve my needs to be met. That one is very strong for you guys. I deserve love, support, and kindness. I deserve patience and compassion. And I keep, what is this card that's kind of coming out? Emotional healing. I keep getting this energy with relationships. It feels like a masculine energy, and it's like, why do you keep sitting in relationships that are not good for you? Like, this, for some of them, it's romantic relationships. For some of them, it's like mother issues or it's friends. And it's like, why do you keep repeating this over and over and over? It's like you're taking your own power away. You're literally giving your power to people who manipulate you, people who don't show up for you, people who are not there for you. Like, why are you doing that? Why are you like allowing this to happen? And it's like, if you're going into that victim mode where you're blaming other people, look at your own actions and see, am I making choices that are actually in alignment with what I want? Or do I keep staying in cycles that are not good for me? And you don't have to be a man for that. It does feel like a masculine, like a man energy, but it doesn't have to be just for an actual man. So, emotional healing and awareness, it feels like a lot of your shadows are kind of coming up. And some of you, they're really painful stuff. Some of you it's just energy stuff, but some of you it's definitely like emotions and feelings coming up too. And you realize like how you have not been putting yourself first. You realize like you're having the awareness where you haven't really been putting yourself first, or where you haven't really been doing what's best for you. It feels very related to other people. And like, again, when I say relationships, I mean any type, like platonic or romantic, family, it doesn't matter. You're gaining awareness. I get this. I keep getting this energy. So I'm just going to say it again. I keep getting this, like, people staying in relationships with manipulative people. This is what I talked about in the other reading. Like, if somebody is intentionally manipulating, let me say this a different way so I can so it makes sense, because I feel like somebody needs me to explain this. Okay. We all are manipulative. Like, we all do shit and we don't know. For example, if you're wanting somebody, like you like somebody, right? And you're like wanting them to date you, and you say you have like an abandonment wound or something like that. You might be like trying to make the other person jealous so they'll commit to you. Okay. Are you intentionally manipulating them? No, you don't even realize you're doing it. You're just trying to get your needs met. Like, you're trying to subconsciously do it. Versus somebody who goes, I know if I do this, this, and this, or if I say this, it's going to hurt this person. It's going to bring this person down. It's going to make them feel like this. Or I'm going to purposely control this person so I can get them to do what I want. So I can get them to react. And those are the type of people where you don't give them a reaction and they'll do something else and else and else and else. And sometimes they'll sexually manipulate you. Sometimes they'll physically manipulate you. They'll emotionally manipulate you. They'll show up and do things you want, like after you've asked them to. They'll come and go, come and go, come and go. They'll do things like that. Now, with that being said, your perspective and the way I'm saying that might not align. And what I mean by that is sometimes people come and go, for example, where you're just going through some shit and they're going through some shit, so you kind of fall out of alignment. So that's a come and go. Versus, and this is why I always say use your discernment, versus come and go can also mean somebody's like, I'm going to leave you and go be with somebody else, and then I'm going to come back, and then I'm going to leave you and go be with somebody else, and then I'm going to come back. Okay? Totally different things. Totally different things. So that's why I'm saying to you, like, use your discernment when you're listening to anybody, because it's your own interpretation of what that means. And a lot of times it will trigger an insecurity or your own projected energy, not necessarily the neutrality that it's being spoken with. So we got divine timing, divine masculine, and foundation. We're getting a lot of masculine energy in here, and said divine timing in the beginning. We also got that with the patience and planning. We're getting a lot of divine timing too, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. I'm getting so much father healing right now, especially for the feminines, but it feels like for the masculines too, so much father healing. With the divine timing, I'm getting patience, trusting in the timing, surrendering. It actually feels like the masculine is like, not that they're running out of time. It almost feels like this defeatist attitude of like, too much time has passed, or I'm not going to be able to make this happen because of something like that. Something with that. If it's meant for you, it will happen. This is where it's trusting in the divine and trusting in yourself that you're making the right choices for you. If you know you're not making the right choices for you, then make fucking different choices. Then make different choices. And not always listening to people outside of you, trusting yourself, like really trusting yourself, learning to trust yourself and like what you actually know. This feels like a collective energy. It does not feel like a man, like masculine in that sense. The divine masculine and foundations, what it feels like is a lot of the masculine energy that's being worked on is actually being stable, is not going back and forth. It's not being inner ego and defensive. Kind of how I said in the beginning with the patience and planning authority card, it kind of is a very similar message to that. It's learning how to be stable in the energies and learning how to stick with what we want and stop flip-flopping, stop running away from shit, stop going into our ego so much. And they're also saying like inner child stuff too, like, ooh, I'm getting dizzy as fuck again, hold on. Jeez, we're doing so many shifts today. Like, stop going so back and forth and stop going so much into the inner child to get your needs met. Take a second to ask, like, is this something I actually deserve, desire, want, or is this me trying to get a need met? And if it's you trying to get a need met, try to give it to yourself. If you can't get it from, nope, I said that wrong. Try to see if you can give it to yourself. If it's something that you want in a relationship, ask for it. Don't demand it. Don't try to control it. Ask for it. Everything that's said doesn't have to be so literal. Remember, it's your own interpretation and somebody else's interpretation of the way it's said. Don't make assumptions on it, is what they're saying. Like, that's not what this is. They're just telling me to say that. Like, don't make assumptions on it. Like, take a second and say, is this actually what this person said? Or am I assuming based on, you know, your own safety mechanisms or whatever word you want to use, defense mechanisms, but your own needing to feel safe and comfort in something. Because I'm getting this like ego chatter of like trying to like run away or tell ourselves something's not going to work out, something's not going to be good. Feels like a masculine. Something's not going to work out, something's not going to be good. Because they're actually scared of like somebody leaving them. Like they actually have a really deep abandonment wound. Yeah. Is that the only card you want me to pull out? Okay, they literally had me pull this deck out, like actually pull it out. I'm going to read the card, but we got new beginnings on the bottom. So that's like the second new beginning. No, I'm going to read this. Everything in life is constantly vibrating and moving and therefore continuously changing and evolving. Be aware that a new beginning is on the horizon. Have courage and faith because right now life is trying to nudge you forward and move you in a new direction. I love that. And this is the card that came out. Literally, they wanted me to pull this deck just for this card, apparently. Stay connected. We're all born connected to spirit, often known as the divine source. Yet many of us have a tendency to pull away from the connection as we journey through life in the physical world. Now is an important time to connect to the source. I love the energy I'm getting from this card, too. It's this inner knowing. I've been telling people, like, one of the things that I've been working on, and I guess some of you guys are working on it too, is spirit's not giving you messages so much externally. Not like where they're whispering in your ear, I don't mean like that, like externally giving it to you, like spirit guides, angels, and stuff like that. Some of us are learning to just connect to ourselves, which connects directly to source. And we're learning how to have just the inner knowing rather than needing the messages and words and thoughts put in. Like that, like how I was telling you in the beginning, they were saying like power, authority, like things like that. That's them telling me that. So I channel different ways. Some of the times is me just channeling directly to source and stuff like that. But some of you guys are actually working on this as well, where you're learning how to like stay connected with your connection to source. But I'm also getting to some of you are learning how to stay connected to your body when you go into trauma responses. So I talk about this. I'm going to briefly say this because this reading is so long. I didn't realize it was this long. But when you're in like people, all right, hold on. Trying to be like, whatever. Okay. A lot of times ADHD is diagnosed as ADHD because somebody loses attention and they get distracted easily. This is usually a trauma response when you will disconnect from your body and disconnect from your thoughts when you get uncomfortable and you will distract yourself and you don't even know you do it. Spirit has had me pointed out to so many people in the last few weeks, like even a few people today, where you'll be talking and they get disconnected, they get uncomfortable and they'll just distract and they don't even know they're doing it. And then they're like, I have ADHD. It's not an ADHD thing. It's actually a trauma response where you're very uncomfortable, so you'll disconnect from it. Try to check in with yourself and see, when am I disconnecting? When am I being, attention to whatever the fuck we're doing is, like where I'm getting distracted, and see what was going on before that. What were you physically feeling? What was mentally going on? What were you talking about? And you'll start connecting it. And when you can feel yourself getting disconnected, snap, or like start rubbing your arm or do something to bring yourself back into your body. Oh, I should shuffle those weird. Okay, last messages. That one? You want me to take all those? Just this. Okay. Conclusions are within reach. Full moon eclipse. Don't we have a full moon eclipse like coming in a few days? Hold on. Let me channel and see if I get a message with that one. They didn't say anything to me. I get this sense of almost like this darkness, not darkness in a bad way. This sense like shadows are going to come up during this time to help my stomach. I'm getting this weird energy in my stomach as I'm saying this. To help with healing inner child stuff, really deep inner child stuff. I'm seeing like crying, but I'm seeing this like sense of healing. Like almost this giant releasing. Okay, we got, fucking arm shit again. We got, it's time to take action. New moon in Aries. Hold your vision. Fixed moon. Look at the bigger picture. Full moon in Sag. This feels exactly like what I said earlier about the people who keep flip-flopping and getting defense mode. Okay, this time to take action. Hold your vision. Okay. What they're saying is, what the fuck do you want? Truly, what do you want? Even if it's not right here, right now, in this present moment, what do you want? You don't have to let go of what it is that you want. Shift your perspective. I'm in this present energy. No, this is not what I want. Yes, I want something different. How can I accept and surrender this and still trust that what I want is going to happen for me without having to give up? And how can I shift my perspective? What is holding me in the future rather than the present moment? And a lot of times it is something we are uncomfortable with. It's a need needing to get met. It's a feeling of being chosen. It's a feeling of worthiness, or we're good enough. It's a feeling of something like that. That is your giant lesson, they're saying. That is the big lesson you're fucking in right now. If you're in that cycle, like that's the lesson of why it's not here for you right now. This feels like not just the people in the void. This feels like for most people, because even the people who are in their creativity and their element right now aren't having their big manifestation right now, because a lot of people are working through this. So what is it that you're trying to manifest? This is I'm going to try to say it like a little bit more clear. What are you trying to manifest? And then why are you so uncomfortable with not having it right now? What are you telling yourself? Like, if somebody does this for me, then it means what? That I was chosen, that I was worthy, that I was good enough, that I'm not going to be uncomfortable anymore. I'm not going to have to sit with these thoughts and feelings. If this happens for me, then what does it mean? If this happens for me, then what does it mean? What discomfort does it take away? What thoughts does it take away? What ego trauma does it take away? What is that? And that's what you need to heal in order for it to actually come. Because it's not the other person's, it's not the jobs, it's not the career, it's not the kids' responsibility to make that fix, to be fixed and heal. It is yours. That's what Spirit is saying. I fucking love that message. I feel like that is such a good, strong message. So anyway, I hope it all made sense, because as I'm saying it makes sense to me, but I know sometimes I don't always clearly speak it because I'm getting like a million things at once. So anyway, I really do hope that this helped, and I'm wishing you guys so much love and light.